Hello, everyone. Hello, it's me, Homecoming Hero, and yeah, I'm back. Welcome to another new episode of Late Night Sprites. Now, today I'm going to be talking about Bonkers. For those who remember Bonkers, he was like this cartoon tiger Bonkers the Bobcat. See, I thought he was a tiger because of the tail, but he is Bonkers the Bobcat. And this was one of the last Disney Capcom games ever made. Like, this is one of the last ones, and it's very interesting. I never personally played it until about a night ago, because I have Antstream Arcade. For those who don't know, Antstream Arcade is this service that, like, you get to pay either for a lifetime subscription or for a year. I decided to get a year, and you get to play a bunch of old games and old arcade games and stuff. And I was really excited because they announced a bunch of Disney games getting added to Antstream Arcade. So that includes Bonkers, but they also have the Genesis and oops, hit the wrong button. Oh well. But they have the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions of Aladdin, for example, which I absolutely love that. I know you can get them in that collection with Lion King, but Lion King is also on there, so on Antstream Arcade, that is. So if you don't have that collection, you can now play those three. You don't get Jungle Book, but, like, that's okay. But yes, so Bonkers is really interesting because it's kind of tied to the other Disney video games, because as you see, Aladdin's magic lamp, Mickey's sorcerer hat, and Ariel's pendant get stolen because, you know, Bonkers lives in Toontown, and the theme song to Bonkers totally slaps. Look it up if you can. I warn you, it might get stuck in your head. But that's something that I find very interesting, because it's not just these, like, random Disney items, because there's, like, Disney cameos in this game and there's Disney references, because that's what Bonkers was about. Bonkers was clearly inspired by, or maybe even originally going to be, a Roger Rabbit-like thing. Well, Roger Rabbit-like show. I don't know the history of Bonkers. I never watched it, but when I saw Goof Troop and Aladdin and Little Mermaid and Bonkers on there, I was like, I never played Bonkers. I'm going to give that a shot. Yeah, Bonkers gets his partner hospitalized because Bonkers is a goofy bobcat. And so today I'm going to, like, give my review and thoughts on one of the last Disney Capcom games, because we know for a fact that Disney and Capcom made some just amazing titles. DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Darkwing Duck, Aladdin, Goof Troop, and surprisingly enough, Bonkers. Now, if anybody else here grew up with this game, you might be familiar with this. This game reminds me a lot of Tiny Toons Buster Bust Loose for the Super Nintendo. So what happens is that you go through the game, you fill up your dash meter, and that's your main form of traversal, but also attack. You can do that, and then you also have these bombs, and as you collect bomb power-ups, you get to use them. As you see, you have a very sparse number of them. By the end of the game, I was racking up about, like, 15 to 20 of them. This game's about an hour and a half, 2 hours long. Typical classic Disney Capcom fare. And I was surprised. This is a little bit of a hidden gem. I don't hear a lot of people talk about the Bonkers game. Now, some enemies you can dash into and just, like, that's the end. But some of them you can run into and you end up just defeating them right then and there. Either that, or you jump on them, or use your bombs. Now, Bonkers has to explore. There's this bunny guy. I still don't know what he does, but he's there. But there's also some really neat features to this game that I am going to show off, because this isn't like top 10 Super Nintendo games or anything, but maybe top 20, top 25. It's very interesting because I grew up with Tiny Toon Busters Bust Loose, and that game made by Konami was very, like, speed-based. And, oh yeah, you can also slide under stuff that's unique. So you can jump, dash, and throw your bombs. And you know, you can use the dash for multiple things. Yeah, take that. But one of the other unique things, for example, I want to show off is actually right here. They have like these heart items. I don't want to call them heart containers because it's clearly Zelda, but Bonkers extends his health there. Oh, I think that's a Donald Duck thing. This game isn't perfect, mind you, because even though the dash is like your main mode of traversal and your main way of dealing with enemies, it definitely... The levels aren't always designed around it. So that's the only thing that I would say is kind of a small flaw. You also get this item that gives you, like, super duper dash. That lets you, like, go crazy and... Or, as they say in the theme song, go totally nuts. Whatever you decide... Oh my. What's even up here? That's the other kind of fun thing about Bonkers. There's a lot of, like, exploration in this game. There's a lot of these, like, power-up things that you have to break either by dashing or throwing bombs on them. And that's kind of the name of the game, really. You go... There's 5 stages... of 5 to 6 stages in the game. You go, you get the artifacts, you go to the final stage, and the game's done. The story isn't really that groundbreaking. The final boss kind of comes out of nowhere. I will say that. And the final boss, I'm still kind of scratching my head on what the final boss of this game is. Spoilers for Bonkers, I guess. Spoilers for a 90s Super Nintendo game, but it's like this clock guy who controls all of time and space and whatever. And then Bonkers, like, saves the day, and the guy goes, "Oh, wow, Bonkers, no one ever told me thank you. I guess I won't destroy all the fabric of time and space as we know it." And Bonkers goes, "Gee willikers," and then Bonkers gets a medal, and the game ends. That guy kind of looks like Lumiere. That guy looks like Lumiere if he was a bad guy. That might be a reference. This game is not bad, though. Of the Disney Capcom games, I still think my least favorite is Tailspin. But that's just because Tailspin, I think, is not fundamentally designed well. Maybe I'll do a video on the Disney Afternoon Collection at some point. But Bonkers itself is really fun. I'm going to show off a little bit of the game here. But overall, like, the small flaws aside, I ended up really enjoying it. I don't know how many of these heart containers there are. I ended up getting my hearts to about 7. But this game can be a little brutal, can be a little unforgiving. The hit detection, of course, can be a little wonky at points. There's also some points with, like, bosses, where bosses can get, like, 3 or 4 hits on you. But I will get a game over after this boss to kind of show off what happens, because this game didn't have the password system. This game saved. This game saved your data. Or, well, with Stream Arcade, you can make save states, which is very, very nice. And I did use that. Oh, it's this Phantom Duck man. And then he goes in the vacuum, and you throw a bomb at it, and then he's like, "Bleh." And then he goes down again, and then he shoots his ghostly fire at you, and then you jump on it. Oh, see, that's what I mean. Like, if you can't cheese with invisibility frames, like, as much as I'd love to, I think you can dash into most enemies, though. Boom! Yeah. Yeah, you can dash. But when the game has a healthy amount of checkpoints, too, which is really nice for the day and age that it came out. See, as you see here, I'm gonna lose a life. 0 also counts as a life. This game is surprisingly very forgiving, and I do like the fact that there are no continues, which I will show in a moment. Like, there's just no password system, which back then it was kind of a gamble. You either had to, you know, save your game, get something like maybe Mario World or Zelda where you have to save, but Goof Troop and Aladdin, some of the other Disney Capcom games had passwords, the ones that I grew up with, and I never memorized those. I never memorized the passwords, so I didn't really beat those games until I got older and I was able to beat them in one sitting. Aside from Goof Troop, I have never finished Goof Troop. I've always wanted to, and Now that's on Ant Stream Arcade, I actually might... Yeah, this guy's actually... This guy, I wouldn't say is the toughest boss. The toughest one is on this, like, sea ship level that I am not going to show off. But he... yeah, oops. So, this game, if I was to give it a score, I'd probably say like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Definitely worth it for Disney Capcom fans. Bonkers is a show, as I mentioned earlier, I know nothing about. I never watched Bonkers. I remember Chip and Dale. I remember Darkwing Duck. I remember DuckTales. And I remember even the Timon and Pumbaa show. And I remember really liking the Timon and Pumbaa show. I don't know if Timon and Pumbaa ever got a dedicated game. Know about the Lion King game. That's really, really tough. Yeah! See, the guy, he phases with his evil ghost duck ways. Maybe this is like revenge for like DuckTales and stuff. It's like, we're gonna make a ghost duck. They're like, what if we make a main villain like a duck? And somebody in HR, or not HR, somebody in the boardroom was like, you know what, that's a great idea. We should have Evil Duck. Oh yeah, and then his little ghost swoops down. I got one more try. I might be showing off the continue right there. But yeah, overall, Bonkers is... I never watched the show. I do not know if it's on Disney Plus. I will have to look that up at some point. But just as a franchise. Now, Bonkers, what I do recognize from is the 2-part episode of the DuckTales reboot episode, Let's Get Dangerous, because when Taurus Bulba tears open the alternate dimension to let out the Darkwing Duck supervillains from the TV show, the police officer that they beat up is Bonkers. Like, and it's not even like, oh, Bonkers is in one shot. No, they... like, all of them have a go at Bonkers, and it's kind of funny. Oh no, I died. So, if you lose a life, you get this stand-up comedian guy, and you get to do this at infinite, because trust me, I lost a lot of lives. I had to continue a lot. And you can either ignore him, and he's like, oh man, why would you do that? Or you laugh at his joke, and you get to keep on going. And that's really neat. And it's not even like, oh, you're doing all of stage 1 over again. No, you get to do the entire stage from the midpoint. And you get to keep all of your heart containers all of your heart vessel, whatever they are. You get to keep all of those. The only things that respawn are the 1-ups. But if you do die... and you go back where a 1-up was, the 1-up will not be there. There's usually only like one 1-up per level, so you usually get about 4 tries at a level, which is fine. This game is relatively short, and this belongs to be up there with Aladdin and Goof Troop as one of the good Disney Capcom games. I can't believe I'm saying that about Bonkers the Bobcat. I mean, his theme song slaps from his TV show. But now he's living downtown. That's one of the lyrics, but... Oh, that's a bomb. I want that. I don't think I can hit the ghost duck with a bomb, though. What's in here? Maybe a healing item? No, that's an enemy. That wasn't a friend. See, I love how some of the bigger enemies, like, you run through the small ones, but the big ones are like... You just bump into them. Like you're at the convention and you accidentally didn't look behind yourself when you turn around and it's just like, oh. But this reminds me a lot of Aladdin. Now, there's no gliding aspect. Instead, there's a dash. But Aladdin had a lot of the, you have a limited amount of items to throw. It has that weight that this game has where when you jump on an enemy, you just like... you bounce off of them like that, and like Bonkers like drops the second you're done jumping. You can hold for a little bit to make some of the bigger jump. Oh my gosh, I didn't know I could jump on that. The more you know. But yeah, I'm glad that Ant Stream Arcade put this on there, as well as Aladdin and Goof Troop, which I'm finally going to beat, and Little Mermaid, which I never played, so maybe I might do some more videos on, like, Disney games, because I have been kind of feeling some Disney games. I recently, on Steam, played through the Castle of Illusion remake, and that was really good. Yeah, sometimes you can cheese it, sometimes you can't. Bam! Take that vacuum. Yeah, the ghost, he just, like, flies into the object, and then he spits at you, and then you jump on him, and rinse and repeat. Oh no. Yeah! I do kind of like how the objects, like, stay next to each other. So I'm going to try throwing a bomb at him. Oh, the bomb works! Oh, he's stuck now. He's stuck. He has no hope. He has no hope. Because I have 6 of these. His days are over. Oh, no! I see what he did to me! Yeah, but we beat him. So yeah, you beat the first stage, which is like the mansion, the McDuck mansion. And then you will get this map screen. Now your hearts carry over. So when you do 2 halves of a stage, if you're down to your last little heart, you're entering part 2 with only 1. But like I said, the infinite continues, the amount of healing items is really great. I'm going to show off the studio. I'll do one more level. Maybe I'll do a full playthrough of a Bonkers at some point in the future. And see, there's Goofy. But yeah, in between stages you heal. Like, when you go to a new stage, you get a full heal. And that's really nice. There's Donald. But if you, if you're on the same stage, it's like, nope. You better you better look for those healing items or that heart container or something, because it's not happening. Okay. Oh yeah, enemies respawn, but that's classic Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, like, level design. Alrighty, here we go. I still, last night, was kind of in disbelief. Well, not disbelief, like, I can't believe Bonkers is good, but, like, I was surprised. This is very much a pleasant surprise, but I'm gonna grab that heart container, and you let me know in the comments if you want to see more of the Bonkers, game, because I think I have to skedaddle. I've been under the weather a little bit, so recording does take a little bit off of me, but, well, a little bit more out of me, I should say. Phrasing. But yes, thank you so much for tuning into this kind of, like, quick little video. I do want to make more stuff like this in the future, and I plan on doing more. I kind of want to do some Let's Plays. I want to do some other kind of videos, like some more review-like stuff. This, I would say, is just kind of a little Bonkers showcase with some thoughts, and oh, he got electrocuted. It's a shame. We hate to see it. But yeah, if you don't meet the halfway point, you are basically sent back to the very beginning, and you have to do the whole section again. So, I know I mentioned that checkpoints are forgiving, because they will spawn you, right in front of the boss. There are like 3 checkpoints. There's one at the very beginning of the first half, very beginning of the second half, and right in front of the boss. And I guess I said that checkpoints were forgiving because you could get spawned after you continue in the second half. Well, you get spawned in part 2, which is super nice. Super, like, manageable to do. It's easier to do, like, an act 2 of a stage than doing all of it. I'm not going for that life. The boss of the stage is kind of annoying also. Like, I'm not even at that half yet. The enemy placement can be a little tricky, but there's tons of power-ups to get. There's those heart containers. There's a lot of stuff that makes this game, like, manageable. So I am actually going to show that off. You hit the save, you make the save slot right there, and that's really nice. and you quit the game. And that's Ant Stream Arcade also. So I kind of want to show it off. You get multiple save states. You get to continue right where you were in certain aspects, and I think that's really cool if you need to put it down or your internet, died out for a second. And I think that's great. So we're gonna load up this screen to end on, and thank you so much for watching this episode of Late Night Sprites. I am trying to make more reviews and shorts and just gameplay stuff, so this is Bonkers on the Super Nintendo. Let me know if you want to watch a whole playthrough of Bonkers and hear me talk about more stuff, but thank you so much for joining me. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. I am Homecoming Hero, and I will see you on the next episode of Late Night Sprites. Take care.